Well, there we go. Let's get this show on the road. Let me set up the live chat on the desktop in front of me. Just takes a few seconds. Gives time people or it gives people time to come in. Hey, sassy granny, you're the first one here. How you doing, my dear friend? I'm just setting up my chat here on the big screen, which is in front of me, but it's behind the screen that you're seeing. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Rita. Let me just set up this chat really quick. Hey, Leanne Rayner. Hey, Jewel Giacana. Okay, let me just pin this message really quick. There we go. I finally learned how to do that 2 days ago. And now I just have to adjust the chat on my phone really quick. Make sure I'm seeing all of your messages. If you guys are watching through the chat, which obviously you're chatting in the chat, but make sure that you have your chat set to live chat rather than talk chat. That's a mistake I used to make when I was just a viewer rather than a YouTuber. Always set it to live chat. Hey, 24 people. Well, welcome in, everybody. I'm April Davis, PI. I'm a licensed California private investigator, and today's date is Saturday, May 23rd, 2026. Wow, 51 people. Amazing. If you're watching from the U.S., this is Memorial Day weekend in the United States. I hope that I have people coming in from all over the world. And speaking of that, David Chester has just come in from England. Oh, the kaleidoscope eyes. I love it. I love it. I can see it on my camera, but I couldn't see it on the screen. So I think you guys can see where it says Jamie James sent kaleidoscope glasses. Uh, could you see the glasses on your screen? Or could I saw it on my cell phone, but didn't see it on the desktop behind me. Those are friggin' cool. Wow, I thought they got rid of those. Thank you, Jamie James. I know, Cali Girl on Fire. She says, congratulations, April, on 3,000. Oh, you did see it. Okay, great. Yeah, I couldn't see it on the desktop. Maybe, you know why? Maybe it's something that it only shows up on the cell phones. That's why you guys, if were you guys watching on a cell phone, those guys, the people that were able to see it, are you watching right now on a mobile device, like a cell phone or an iPad, some type of tablet? Because on the computer, I could not see it. Oh, there it is. It's behind. The chat's behind. Okay. Let me speed up. Oh, yeah, the computer is like way behind. You know why? Because the computer shows me commercials on my own channel when I turn it on, so it's behind. There it is. I saw it. Okay, so everybody is able to see it. That is so cool. You know, I was watching another YouTuber the last couple of days, and he would say, "Oh, thank you, so and so, for the 100 jewels or the 200 jewels." And I can't see the amount. I can only see the first one, like that was 190 rubies. But how many jewels that you guys sent, I can't see that amount. But he was on a different device. He's on, well, he's using StreamYard. And he mentioned something about, yes, StreamYard needs to fix that. So I'm like, well, how is he seeing the points? Or the count, but okay. So moving on here. Nancy Guthrie, day number 112. First of all, let's just start out with a prayer for Savannah. This must be a very hard weekend for her and her family, being Memorial Day weekend. I know a lot of you think of it as the first summer holiday, but you have to think about what it really is. It's Memorial Day weekend. Uh, yes, Jamie James says, so sad. Jamie James says, yep, always use my phone for the live chats. Uh, who else? Did I miss anybody? David Chester, I've been very busy lately. Anything new with Nancy? Well, quite a bit, David. I think you need to watch some of the most recent videos for the past week. Hey, 52 people. Can I ask you a favor? I just hit 3,000 subs yesterday. Can you guys, if you're not already sub, can you sub? Because I want to get it to 4,000 quickly so I can reach my goal of 5,000. Also, can you smash that like button in your chat? And, you might want to double tap the screen here and there for the red hearts or the little smiley faces. I notice in watching my own replays that I go like this a lot. I don't know why while I'm talking to my friends here on YouTube that my nose starts to itch or my face itches and I'm always like doing this. I never realized that till I saw myself. Like now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, now I'm itchy. And I just put like moisturizer on my face. Oh, I don't even have makeup on my face other than the lipstick. So, uh, and CoverGirl, they don't make my favorite color anymore. Uh, Thank you, Deckery Castle Cook. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're up to 31 people watching. I saw some recent videos about this from another YouTuber, and I love all the other YouTubers. I'll never bash anybody, I'll never bash another YouTuber. Um, most of these other big YouTubers, they're more professional than I am. Remember, I've been doing this for 5 years and 5 months. I just got my first remonetization check yesterday. And even though it was more than I thought, it's still like not near enough to cover all the expenses that I've spent for the last 5.5 years. So I don't consider myself a professional YouTuber yet. I think these big channels that, they can actually make a living off of this. Even those that, have regular jobs, they can make a living off their YouTube. Those are professional YouTubers. So, I think everybody has their own like little niche, their own talent, their own skills. I'm just going to worry more about my channel, but I have been getting a lot of emails uh, about the interview. I think it was 2 days ago on Clutch Them Pearls. Yeah, he featured Zach Jaghoob. Now, remember, on my channel, we can name names all day long, but everybody here is innocent until proven guilty. Everybody, did I just say everybody is innocent until proven guilty? Uh, it was an interesting interview. I slept through part of it or fell asleep through part of it. It seems like after I take my night meds and then I lay my head on my pillow, I'll fall asleep for a few minutes and then I'll wake up and I'll be, wide awake. So I do have to rewatch that, but it's hard for me to watch interviews that are 2 and 3 hours long or YouTube videos that are that long. I don't know if his interview was that long. Maybe it was an hour, hour and a half. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to replay that again, watch maybe the subsequent interviews or information since then. But all I can say is I still have my list of suspects. Um, I still believe that the police and the FBI also have their list of suspects, and this is such a big case that they just need the right evidence to make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed before they go out and secure an arrest warrant for somebody. It doesn't, all these interviews that I'm seeing on YouTube from other YouTubers, it doesn't change my opinion in the least. All I could say after that interview was, wow, what a tangled web we weave. That's all I'm really going to say about it. Uh, yeah, I'm kind of glad he did the interview, but my, what a tangled web we weave. And, this guy is a professional YouTuber, but as far as I know, he either works or has worked in the funeral home business, which is very commendable if that's true. There's an internet statement that he is a funeral home worker. That's a very commendable thing to do. That's a really tough job. Um, but that's not the same thing as being a licensed private investigator or a police detective who is used to conducting criminal investigations. Not that he wouldn't be a great investigator. You have to be to have a true crime channel. You have to have an investigative mind. But I would have handled a few questions a little differently or added a few things to my list. Uh, I'm not going to criticize him. Like I said, he's much better at YouTube than I am. And when the interview's gone on for a long time and it's late and he was getting tired and he's got like 1,000 people watching, or I think he had 1,200 people watching. I only saw it after the fact, but there's a lot going on with the chat, and he's on uh, a professional live stream app called StreamYard, and there's like different screens. He's got to pop up different pictures and interviews. Like, I don't even have that. I'm just doing a vertical live, because YouTube has been pushing that for the last year, vertical lives. So when I started doing this crime series on Nancy Guthrie, I thought, you know what, let's just do a vertical live and see how it works out. And it actually brought in more subscribers for me. So I'm going to stick to this format for now. I'm not going to go to the expenses of, you know, um, StreamYard and all that, although that is a very good app to use. It's a good program. Uh, like I said, he did a good job. I handle criminal investigations, differently, but that's just because of what I do for a living. It's a good thing I was, my whole life good at that, and that I was able to do it for 35 years full time, and I was able to start young, and I put a ton of money into the Social Security system, being a self-employed person at some point, and it's a good thing because my cancer got diagnosed at 54. I think it was probably in my body for at least 2 to 3 years before it was diagnosed. And I was just able to go, with the money, putting it into that system and putting it into the tax system. My employees, or not my employees, but my contractor, seemed to get rich, where I was just like paying the taxes and paying the one that would hurt me the most was what they call the self-employment tax. And it's a good thing I did, because what I did for a living is still, semi supporting me now. Uh, yeah, Social Security or Social Security disability is definitely not enough to live off of, and I still face these, health challenges every single day. Hi, Sue Brock. But yeah, I did like the interview. I do need to see it again. I've received a few emails about it, about what I think, and obviously I can't, tell a public audience here over YouTube what I think. I haven't told anybody what I think. What I think is up here. It's a group. It's revenge or money. Uh, it could be just a couple people working by themselves together, or it could be the worker bees working for the puppet masters. Uh, Rochelle, I think I'm moving more to center with him since the interview. The citizenship data needs clarification for sure. Well, is it Rachel or Rochelle? Let me know. Rachel 1, Rochelle 2 in the chat, because I want to pronounce your names right on here. Hello, Hemi. Oh, hello, Patrick. Is it Rachel 1 or Rochelle number 2? Rochelle. Okay, thank you. Sorry I mispronounced your name. My apologies. I just want to read your comment one more time for the audience. I think I am moving more to center with him since the interview. The citizenship data needs clarification for sure. Well, you know what? Besides being a private investigator, I happen to be, I was a sponsor for 10 years for a family from Thailand. And the mother of the family, who came to the U.S. first before the children were allowed to come, uh, let's just say her and her husband at the time made some critical mistakes in their case. They lived in another state they were told by the government not to get an attorney. I was told the same thing by Social Security when I got my stage 3 cancer. You try to believe your government, you do what they tell you, then you realize, like, oops, I made a mistake. Now I need a lawyer. I didn't meet my Thai family until my Thai family moved from another state over to California. And we basically had to abandon the first case, start a second case, uh, get the right attorney, get that attorney to be able to, have a meeting with immigration and then be able to pull all the records from archives, which were in California, had to be shipped to another state, had to be shipped back over the ocean to California. It was a long, tedious process. And, remember, I do work in the law, and I was the one that dealt with the attorney more than the family. And I now consider myself, I'm not a lawyer, but I would say, close to an expert in immigration issues. And I can tell you that as a permanent resident, that means someone with a green card, not someone with a citizenship, but somebody with a green card. You must live in the United States for a minimum of 6 months out of every year that you're here. Now, if you're like, let's say there's an exception, like you're a college student and you're finishing up a degree, as my Thai daughter was doing, finishing her degree, she was allowed to come here, get the green card, go back to her country, finish the education, and as soon as she had that diploma, like the next day, she was back on the plane. There are exceptions, but if you do not live in the United States or one of their territories for at least 6 months out of 12 months, you could be asked to surrender or forfeit your green card upon reentry into the United States. Now, he also, this man that was interviewed, said that he has a wife uh, that's an American citizen, a U.S., I should say, a United States of America citizen. It is believed she may live in Tucson with his son. They never, like I said, I haven't seen the whole interview yet. So I have to, I don't want to misquote, or if I missay something, please let me know if you guys have seen the whole interview. They didn't really get into, like, has he applied for citizenship? Because once you are married to a U.S. citizen, within the first 3 years, if you're still married to that person, which they never asked him if he was or he wasn't, as far as I know, you can then apply for your citizenship. Now, that can also get hung up and dragged out for years and years and years because our immigration system is completely broken. I don't know if those questions were addressed because I started to watch it. I fell asleep. I woke up like, whoa, what did I miss? Uh, you know, I was already up till, 4 a.m. anyway, maybe 5. At some point, I have to just go to sleep. So I will have to take more time to go over that. But I had a lot of questions regarding the citizenship. Before I go on, let me just read some of these comments. Emerald Eyes, porch guy, my number suspect has left the building in more ways than one. Possibly. Hemi. April, did you notice dispatch said last seen at Skyline and Campbell? Looking at the intersection, there's a bank there. Who was last seen at Skyline and Campbell? And do you mean like police dispatch? Uh, Rochelle, he said his children are with him though now, and you were misinformed before. Okay. Uh, yeah, I've only seen part of it. Uh, and I do think that the YouTuber did a good job, and I think he's intelligent. He's creative. I'm not creative at all. I'm a just the facts kind of person. What you see is what you get. You know, everything is transparent. I'm not putting on a show. I'm not here for the money, although it will help now that some of these checks can roll in and it can help reimburse me for the expenses. But this is not my job. I'm doing this because I just wanted to start a channel after I had survived stage 3 cancer. And here we are 6 years later, and I'm still here. I would like to know more about the marriage and if he has applied for the citizenship. It was a video on Sue asked missed it what video. It was on Clutch Them Pearls in that YouTube channel. Like I said, I'm not an attorney, but because of my Thai family situation and me being a sponsor for 10 years and them having one of the most difficult cases that I have ever seen, because I am familiar. I had a boyfriend that was from another country, so I'm familiar with his case as well. That happened, before him and I were together, but that case was a mess. And he was from one of the preferred countries that the U.S. likes to bring in. My Thai family, they're on what's called the crap list of countries. That's a country that immigration has problems with. This family, they weren't a problem. The person was very famous in Thailand. They had money in Thailand. They weren't involved in anything sus or crime or um, they just they had a very bad agent that was handling their case in the state that they lived in, and very horrible mistakes were made. It caused all kinds of problems. There's still problems, although everybody is here legally. They have always been legal, but it was so bad that I kind of just wanted to say F it and pack my bags and move to another country. Our system is completely broken. But I can tell you that, especially since the post 9/11 world, they are very strict about you have to, there are exceptions, like someone that needs to finish their degree and it's too late to switch to another university. They're in their final year, they're in the final stretch. They'll give that person a pass to let them go back home and finish that degree as long as they get their butt back here, the day after they graduate. Uh, there were some questions that I don't know if were asked or not asked because I didn't see the whole thing. Also, many foreign nationals, especially people that are in certain countries, often because of their parents or their their country of, let's just say, the country that they're from versus the country they were born and raised in or have lived. Many of these non-US citizens will hold dual citizenship between two countries. And if you come to the United States and you secure a permanent residency card, and then you are allowed to file for citizenship, which you can as long as you are still married. If a divorce happens, then you have to wait longer than the whatever, how many months or years it is. You have to wait a little longer. It's been a while since we went through all of this. So that is something that I would have asked, especially regarding the passport. When was the effective date of the passport? When is the expiration date of the passport? Um, did this person that was interviewed hold a dual citizenship? Therefore, if they have filed or want to file for a U.S. citizenship through their marriage, they would have to surrender one of the three. You can't have a U.S. citizenship plus two others. So if he was already a dual citizen of another country, he might just say, but I don't want to get the U.S. citizenship because I don't want to have my other citizenship revoked. And I understand that. Because my ex, he was from a country where they were like, no, you can't have dual. But then when they changed the law, he didn't want to lose his, I'd say the Japanese version of Social Security. He didn't want to lose those benefits and his insurance, some of his pension. There's a lot of things that go into it, whether you're better off to file for the citizenship of the country that you're residing in with your permanent residence card, or you want to just push that out or just not pursue that. There's two types of green cards. They're the ones that are The resident alien card, they used to be called a permanent resident, and they were permanent. And you only had to get the card one time, and you never had to renew it. That's not the law anymore. Um, there is no such thing as a permanent resident alien card anymore. You do have to renew every 10 years. You have to go get fingerprinted, photographed. It's not the same BS that you have to go through to get approved the first time, but you don't want to have anything bad on your record. If you came here as a minor, you want to make sure that you subscribe or fill out the application for the selective service, which I believe you can do at the U.S. Post Office, because they will ask you that when you apply for your citizenship. When you turned 18 on your 18th birthday, did you go down to a U.S. Post Office and apply for that? And many people from other countries are not even aware that such a law exists. Luckily, I do know the law. I was made sure that my Thai son, on the day of his birthday, went and filled out the paperwork that needed to be filled out. Even though he has a medical problem that would prevent him from ever serving, you still need to subscribe to that. I would have asked the more questions about the passport. Maybe I missed it. I didn't see the whole 3-hour interview or whatever it was. I'd want to know if there's a possible dual citizenship. Um, there's a name that's come up in this case that I can't publicly state that might be an immediate family member of the man that was interviewed. I would like to ask a question about that family member. Uh, there was also something that came up from the audience about his use of private jets or his knowledge of private jet companies. That question needs to be asked again uh, with more information provided in the question. Um, Also, unless I missed it, and I could have missed it. And like I said, this guy, he does really good. He's a professional YouTuber. I don't consider myself a professional YouTuber, but I'm a very, very good licensed private investigator. You have to have all your ducks in a row before you do an interview like that. And it's very hard when you have 1,200 people in your chat and you're doing, you've got your screen going and you've got multiple phones going, and there's a lot to do a live YouTube broadcast, and this guy's a real pro at it. I noticed he was starting to yawn and he was getting tired, and the other guy, it was like 5 a.m. over in Jordan. There were things that kind of got washed over. Um, I would really like to know more about his knowledge of Bitcoin, especially since let's see, I'm missing the chat. I would like to know more about his knowledge of Bitcoin, especially since he is a licensed, well, I don't know if he's licensed, but he has an accounting degree from a university that's in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Okay, Rochelle, he said he had full citizenship. However, he said the rules have changed since, and if he didn't spend 6 months in the U.S. within 2 years, he would have to apply for something else. Well, if you're a citizenship, you're no longer considered an alien resident. Uh, he did say in the part of the interview that I saw that he was a permanent resident, uh, that he had a green card. Now, I haven't seen the whole interview. Did he also say that he was a U.S. citizenship? Because once you become a U.S. citizenship, your green card just gets put into they just take that from you and it goes into some government file or a shredder. You can't be both. It's one or the other. He said he has a full citizenship, not the green card. See, Rochelle, that's why I need to watch the interview again. Hey, Kathy Mowry, welcome in, my dear. Susan, Sue M from Massachusetts, my friend. Look what I'm drinking, my friend. It's hard to see on the green screen. A diet ginger beer. Oh my God. Oh, love you, Sue. That's all I can say. Let's see. So Rochelle D. He said the pandemic prevented him from returning within that period. I understand that. But there's, like I said, I am an expert at the citizenship stuff and this green card stuff because of my former boyfriend and because of my Thai family that I sponsored for over 10 years. And, you can visit the US on a visa, a travel visa. You can come here on a student visa, which may or may not allow you to work. If you want to work, you will be assigned a social security number, even though you're not a citizen. They will give you a social security number and they will provide you with a work permit. But if you're only on a visa, a travel visa, or a student visa, you do not have the right to work without a work permit. Now, once you get a green card, you must live in the United States at least 6 months out of the 12 months out of the year, unless there's an exception. And it's usually a written, okay, we will allow this, like for a student, or there has to be a special reason. The pandemic, what he talked about, I remember that week because that was the week that I had a mastectomy. I remember everything that happened that week. And that week I had my surgery March 13th, 2020. Today's date is May 23rd, 2026. The airports have not been closed for the last 6 years and 2 months. He has continued to travel other parts of the world, which he showed the stamps for. Okay. I need to rewatch the interview to see if he says that he has a U.S. citizenship. He said he had full citizenship. I just hit the wrong button. However, he said the rules have changed. There is no change if you're a citizen. If you're a U.S. citizen, you're here. Even if you do something criminal and they have to put you in prison, they can't just say, okay, when you're out, you're deported now. If you have that citizenship, you are protected for life under that citizenship. You never have to reapply. The permanent resident green cards are no longer permanent. They're 10 years, but you must live here for 6 months. So Rochelle, give me a chance to watch, especially the beginning when I was dozing off. I want to see that part. Let's see, what did I miss? He denies having any family in the US. Okay. Rochelle, I think I heard he has a child in the Tucson area. Oh, well, Crip, you're out of here. Thank you for coming. I'm about 45 minutes from Disneyland if there was no traffic, but with traffic, Disneyland can be a 4-hour drive. They are evacuating. There is a tanker on fire. Actually, there is a chemical leak since yesterday, and it's affecting Garden Grove. It could be spreading to Anaheim. It's a big, bad situation down there. But I am safe here. Thank you for asking, Sue. Elijah, what? Nobody is on my end sending anybody requests for PayPal's. I'm just going to take this person out. This does not make any sense. I did Cali Girl on Fire, but Amazon has raised the price tremendously. And the only store that's close to me in Los Angeles that has this is continually sold out of the diet. Maybe they're not carrying it, but their website says, yeah, Kathy, I think that was sketch. I've got my mojo. Said hello. Yeah, I know you wouldn't do that, Kathy. That was a weird one. I'm just so busy talking, I didn't see it right away. Rochelle, Justin brought up a point from a viewer in that mail is still being delivered to him at the apartment he had. Then Justin asked if possibly had family there, and he said he answered none at all. Okay. And I know as a PI that databases can be showing people still living somewhere even when they're not. Even in your look at your own credit report, and it'll tell you where you lived 40 years ago. However, you know, have you ever heard of the word scrubbing or cleaning? Savannah's husband would know a lot about that. Just a little joke there. He's supposedly a Clinton cleaner. Um, I don't know why certain things have disappeared from his LinkedIn, um, but apparently not everything was scrubbed and cleaned about employment history. Uh, Somebody brought up the name Jerry Chapman. I had to look to see who that was. He owns um, a group of car dealerships in the Pacific Southwest, including Arizona and some other states. Um, this guy that was interviewed on Clutches and Pearls as a car guy, he did admit to knowing Jerry through his wife's father. So his father-in-law knows Jerry Chapman. And they never, I don't know if I didn't see it, I didn't hear it, or it wasn't asked. I'd like to know if, just by coincidence, probably not, but could Jerry Chapman, the car dealership guy, have any relation to Mary Chapman Daly? I know that Mary Chapman Daly, Luke's mother, that his father was from Rhode Island. And it's quite funny because I was born in Rhode Island and I had a foster brother whose last name was Daly at my birth, Daley. I would love to know if John Daly, also known as Jack Daly, is any relation to the Dalys that were involved in my family. Don't know. Small world, isn't it? But I believe his mother, I don't know where she's from originally. Um, I'd like to know if this Mary Chapman Daly, by any chance, is related or knows, even just knows, Jerry Chapman. And there's a reason I'd like to know that. Um, I do want to see the part of the interview that talks about the green card versus the citizenship. Um, he did say in the part of the interview that I saw that he would have problem traveling to the U.S. Because he hasn't been in the U.S. since 2019. So he claims, and he would have a problem because they would probably take his green card upon reentry. But like I said, I have other questions. I have other questions about dates that are on passports. I couldn't see the dates up close. We couldn't see all the pages. There's a possibility of a dual citizenship. There's a possibility of a dual citizenship involving two other countries. There could be more than one passport. Um, that was all kind of just smoothed over, as was the information about his knowledge of Bitcoin. I know that he has an accounting degree from the United Arab Emirates. Okay, Jim, we have to take you out. Goodbye. Um, yes, I do. I do have an Amazon wish list. Thank you for asking. I can thank my former mod Trisha, who chose to not be here anymore, not because of myself, but because she got in an argument with another viewer. But with that being said, she was the one who strongly encouraged me. And if you go to the channel page and just click under the bio, you'll see all the channel links. It's one of the bottom links. Um, Thank you, Sue, for asking. Yeah, a lady that I know in San Diego actually had to have her mother, who is elderly, get out of there yesterday, early afternoon, and just head for San Diego. I also know a whatnotter who has become a $1 million seller, and she's got like a husband and 4 kids, and they live right in that neighborhood. So they're probably like not able to even do their broadcast this weekend. Kathy Mowry, oh, excuse me. You guys are just saying hi. Oh, hi, V Miss. Um, Christine Chapman and said no. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious. Does anybody know, is Jerry Chapman, the car guy, related to Mary Chapman Daly? I don't see any evidence that they are related, but I haven't looked into it. Um, he said he doesn't know much about Bitcoin, but he didn't elaborate much. Where he does have an accounting degree. I actually have the name of the university somewhere, from the United Arab Emirates, and I kind of, I have my own thoughts on how much he does or doesn't know about Bitcoin. Now, I'm not naming anybody here a suspect at all. I still have my list of suspects. I still think that what I wrote in the letter to the FBI, uh, the people that I've mentioned in my letter, none of that has changed at all. This is just one of many people that has come up in the case. He did mention that he plans on getting an attorney soon and that his friends told him not to speak. Well, let me tell you, as soon as he has a lawyer retained, as soon as he puts a retainer deposit to a lawyer, that lawyer is going to advise him to no longer speak to anybody about this. And, even if he's not involved, which he may not be involved at all in this, he may not have even been in the country when this happened. He's going to need to listen to his lawyer. Uh, I would like to know more about the social media posts that have been deleted. I would like to know more about the LinkedIn that's recently been changed. Um, Kathy, you were my first super chat of the day. Thank you so much. Much love to you. We are talking about a man that was interviewed on another YouTube channel called Clutch Them Pearls. Rochelle says, I think he is part of a larger group. Uh, you know, I can't say the name, but there is a family member or a reported family member that has the same last name that went to the same university that's in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, that's around the same age, that has the same accounting background and degree, that works for a company that I've had some interest in. I can't name the company, I can't name the person. I wish that, and I could have missed it because I don't know how much time, this YouTuber, especially if he has another job, he may not have had the time to go over everything that he was going to ask this guy. Because, I think he just sent him a text or sent him a message and was like, hey, I think he sent an Instagram message and the guy was like, sure, I'll talk to you. I got nothing to hide. And, he had to take that shot. But, there is a name of a possible family member that's now become involved in this story. Well, not now, but I just haven't mentioned this person before. And I would have liked him to either confirm or deny. Um, Thank you, Kathy. I couldn't see that. You're the best. Yeah, you're gone, Jim. Bye bye. Um, I would have liked to known that relation because they did ask a question about, and I don't know if it was Justin's question or he read it in his chat and it was an audience member's question, like a viewer's question, but he did ask him something about private jets. And he was a little sketchy on how he answered that. And I have to tell you about, we talked about Annie Tomaso before in body language. I'm an expert at body language. And when I interview somebody in a criminal investigation or even a civil investigation or even an employment level investigation, and somebody lies to me one time, and I'm not calling this guy a liar at all, but if somebody lies to me one time and I can prove it, there's an old saying in the detective business, you lie to me once, you lie to me twice, you lie to me thrice. That makes every other question, even if they answered it truthfully, just none of it matters anymore. If there's deception or deceit or shame or uncomfortableness or able to quickly answer questions, even with a language barrier, English would be a second language for him, able to answer questions very quickly rather than certain questions having to say, excuse me, can you repeat that? I didn't understand. or answer the question with an answer to something else, where you're trying to buy time to dodge that question so that you can hurry up and then it just gets smoothed over because the chat's going so fast and everybody's like everything there was just it was very chaotic at times. But I still think Justin did a terrific job, and I'd like to commend him for getting him on his channel. He is a professional YouTuber. I'm just starting. Hey, 60 people watching, 32 thumbs up. I hit 3,000K subscribers yesterday. If everybody that was watching my channel would subscribe, I have at least 64% of my viewers are not subscribed. If everybody that was subscribed could have, a friend or a family member watching, we could double or triple the viewership. We could double or triple the amount of subs. That would help me because it would help YouTube boost my algorithm. Uh, Excuse me, I'm drinking the ginger beer. It is ginger ale, folks. This is the Bundenberg from the land down under. Absolutely, Emerald Eyes. That's a very good question. Do you still have to go through customs and immigration if you're flying in a private plane? Absolutely. They're very, very strict. The pilot has to file a passenger list. Everybody, every crew member, every passenger has to be filed before they're even allowed to enter the country. And even if they land and go to like a private terminal, they must be met by an immigration official right on the tarmac. You can't get around uh, immigration just by going on a private jet. Um, Now, it helps to have a family member or a possible family member who just coincidentally might be employed by a private jet company. Just saying. But you know, that doesn't equal that this person is now a suspect, because they may have a family member that works for a private jet company, and they may have taken a private jet. That's all I can tell you. Moving up. Greetings to you. Uh, Sue Brock says, asking for prayers. My son is getting a chest CT done now. Those are not fun. I've had a lot of them. He has psoriatic arthritis and his lungs may have been affected. Well, I'm glad he's getting the CAT scan because, the lungs are nothing to mess around with. Remember NASCAR driver Kyle Busch, who passed on Thursday? They've just announced the cause of death of sepsis due to pneumonia, and he had like a cold or something. So, yeah, I will say a prayer, Sue, as will everybody here. Hello, Turkey. Turgut. Uh, you're welcome, Emerald Eyes. Yeah, you can't just get around immigration by flying on a private jet. Now, you could always get smuggled over the border, but that's not an easy thing to do, and it is very risky for both the smuggler and the person being smuggled. Um, yeah, if anybody can tell me if Jerry Chapman could possibly be related to Mary Chapman Daly, I would like to know. I will have to rewatch the interview because the part of the interview that I saw, he said that he was a permanent resident, but that he hadn't been in the United States for 6 years. And let me tell you, he won't just be able to come into the country um, if that's the case. Um, I'd still like to know about um, how many passports he has, how many citizenships he has, and what countries. Because once you apply for the U.S. citizenship through his marriage, um, you can only retain two. And there's certain countries that I believe are still forbidden from having both. Um, why can't I tap on the hearts on this live? I don't know. Uh, Bless Mac, that was clutch them pearls. It's asking me to start a goal. Start a live goal. Okay, you already have a goal. Why is it asking me to start a goal? Okay, I don't know. I have a goal. Oh, YouTube. Like I will have to see more of it, but I'm so busy with my own channel that like if you guys saw more of this interview than I did, and I'm sure some of you have, you know, um, feel free to I really appreciate Rochelle and the information that she gave me, because I need to get more information about that. But no matter what the answer is, this doesn't affect the Nancy Guthrie case in any way. Um, how impossible would it be for them to share a passport? Oh, that's a tough one. Although it does happen. There were two people with fake passports that were on MH370 that were Iranian nationals. I know birth certificates are so sketchy sometimes, especially with elderly immigrants, and at times because the records were not clear to begin with. Yes, that's true. Um, I know a little bit about wrench attack theories. I'd have to know more about it before I could make a comment on that, Hemi. I will look into that. This is not burglary, robbery. This is revenge or kidnapping for money. And I'm finding out more about the third set of ransoms. There was the first two that were sent to TMZ and the radio stations, or not the radio stations, the television stations that were local to Tucson. Then there were the text ransoms that were sent directly to Annie Tomaso's private cell numbers and even a phone call from what the officials are saying. Uh, we won't even, see my video. Remember, Tucson seems like a super small town to me. It seems like everybody's connected through the 6 degrees of separation. But then there was the third set of ransoms. They came into TMZ, originally asking for 50,000, then asking for 1 Bitcoin, then asking for a half a Bitcoin, telling the authorities to go international. I'm hearing more, and I can't tell you where I'm hearing it from, but I'm hearing more about what was in those ransom notes. And the more that I hear, the more that I'm starting to lean that whoever wrote those notes does possibly have credible information regarding this crime. Um, they're not necessarily copycat ransoms or ransoms that are just created by some hacker that's sitting in Pakistan asking for Bitcoin. Uh, those are starting to look like there is at least a possibility that there is truth in those notes. Maybe. Um, let's see, what did I miss? I was outside gardening when he put his stamped passport up. Many people have two passports or they have dual passports. Remember the person who was dating Olivia Newton-John for years? Um, and he had what was his name? McDermott or something? But his mother, was it his mother or his father? Might have been his father. His actual real name was Kim, as in Korean Kim, Kim. But he used the name like Patrick McDermott or something. But before he disappeared and took his old passport with him on the boat, the fishing boat that left from, I believe it was Long Beach, uh, he had just recently gone and got a new passport with his original birth certificate showing his Korean last name and was getting documents reissued in his birth name of Kim rather than his now legal name of McDermott. And when they found his driver's license, his wallet, and his passport left behind on that boat, but there was no person, even though there were several people who testified or reported to the Coast Guard that they saw him get off the boat when the boat returned to shore. That passport was not the one that he was currently using. And you can renew your passport at least so many months in advance of your current passport expiring, and you can already be using your new one. Just like you still could go get your new driver's license, but your old one is, you might still have it unless, like California, they punch a hole through it now. Um, there's not to say that there's not another passport here. There's not to say that he's not a dual citizen of another country. Many foreign nationals do carry dual citizenships. Um, some people can carry three. I know a reseller in Florida who's got a green card, but he won't get a citizenship because his mother is Irish, which gives him access to UK. Well, his mother was born in New Zealand, Irish background, but so he has a New Zealand passport, which is also good in Australia because they're interchangeable. And his father is from Glasgow, Scotland, so he has a UK passport. But this reseller, who's really a big YouTuber on here, Rally Roots, he was born in Durban, South Africa, so he has that passport. He is allowed to have three. He is also allowed to live here under a resident green card, and he would have got it during the time that they were actually permanent resident green cards where you don't have to renew them every 10 years. And people are like, I don't understand. You've lived here since you were a little boy. How come you're not a citizenship? And he said, because I would have to give up two of my three citizenships that I already have. And he doesn't want to give up his New Zealand passport, especially since the family lived in Australia for several years. He doesn't want to give up the citizenship through his father or his birth citizenship. He would have to give up two of the three that he already retains in order to be able to get the one from the US. And, the guy's not a criminal as far as I know. He's legally married to a citizen, a US citizen. So he's like, hey, why bother? Some people, for reasons, they don't take that next step. So I don't know if he has the US citizenship or not. Or, yes, Angel, that is not the topic today. Joe Wells. Hi, April. I just subscribed. Thank you. Pearl's podcast gets too long and lots of silly stuff, but I'm not criticizing. I can't spell that. Okay. I understand what you're saying, Joe. You do just fine. Yeah, I don't have time to watch all those hours and hours and hours, but there's stuff about the citizenship that I need more information on. There's things about the passport I need more information on. There's things about the green card that I need more information on. I'm particularly interested in this relative or possible relative who went to the same university in Dubai, who has the same accounting degree as he has. Um, and their connection to a company that I'm interested in. I'm also interested specifically in uh, the private jets, although even if he does fly private jets, that would not give him any more ability to get here legally than anybody else. It's very tough to get in and out of the country, to travel illegally, and I just don't think that he has done that. I don't know why certain things are being scrubbed. Some of the companies that he's been known to be associated with have ownership that uh, may be connected to other operations. I'd love to know more about what his business is about. Uh, Whatever he said or didn't say, whether it was truthful or untruthful, whether it was, 100% truthful or some was deceitful, this doesn't change anything about my thoughts, and they're just thoughts, on the Nancy Guthrie case. This doesn't change anything as far as who I think front porch guy may be, who I think a getaway driver may be, or who I think is in the background, not at this crime scene, but in the background organizing this whole thing for money. And not necessarily for ransom. That's the one thing I don't know. Was this a kidnapping for ransom and then they meant to keep her alive and release her? Or was this a kidnapping to permanently take her? I don't think she's still alive. I think this is horrible. I think the police and the FBI are closer than we think. They're just dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and they're waiting on some of that DNA from the hair samples that sat in Florida for 12 weeks with no answers. Um, as far as immigration, if you're referring to that, Rochelle, they do need a whole system. You know, some of my hair, I don't go gray because I was a redhead before chemo. A lot of my hair turned white, fell out. I aged probably 20 years in 5 years. I got cancer. Uh, might have gotten cancer anyway, but I was put through enormous stress with this situation with my Thai family. It got so bad that the Thai family and myself included almost got to the point, and we're actually discussing this with the lawyer, of having to sue the United States of America for their incompetence. Incompetence. Everything unraveled due to incompetence and mistakes. I know too much about the system. Uh, we're not naming anybody a suspect here, is all I'm saying. There's a lot more questions that I have. Like I said, he's a much better YouTuber. He's a fantastic YouTuber. I'd love to meet him and learn from him. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm still thousands of dollars in the hole on this channel. But I am a very, very good detective. Uh, and for real, not an armchair or YouTube detective, but I am a real licensed private investigator. Thank you, Rochelle. I am so sorry, April, you have been through so much. Yes, I have. Um, Rochelle says another theory I still cannot rule out would be a collaborative Kevorkian situation. Lots of talk about a hospice nurse involved as well. I haven't heard that one. Not saying that that's not true. Um, it was to silence her and her daughter and possibly MK. Who is MK? Am I just having a brain fart here? Who is MK? Thank you, Kathy. Oh, Mark Kelly. It was to silence her and her daughter and possibly Mark Kelly. Can't say anything about that. I mean, I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, that Savannah Guthrie is not involved in any of this in any way. Now, for other family members, I don't think Cameron's involved. There's still a lot of things I want to know about Tommaso and Annie and the finances. I have a lot of questions there, especially considering that Tommaso knows so many of these yahoos that are involved, even if it's just through the 6 degrees of separation, especially the Derek Kalala connections, or Calle, if you want to say the Spanish pronunciation or the English pronunciation of his name, Kalala Calle. I just find it so weird that there was no ransom note until Cameron told Savannah that it is likely a kidnapping for ransom. I think Cameron is a smart dude, and his head went to immediately where my head went to. When I heard about this Sunday night, February 1st, I was like, oh my gosh, the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie has been kidnapped. And I immediately went to, because of Savannah Guthrie. And that was before I knew anything about the case or all these other characters or the other family members. I didn't even know who Nancy Guthrie was. I knew a lot about Savannah, but I didn't even know who her mother was before any of this happened. It's either the Savannah factor, as I call it, or there's a 75 to 92% chance that it is involving somebody close to her. Sue Brock, it is very frustrating. The medical field needs a lot to be desired. I worked with doctors for 40 years. Um, Bemis. No, I don't think they are involved, but they most likely know by now. Did I know that ears are like fingerprints? I don't know what you're talking about. Uh, Common sense says a kidnapping for ransom. That's all. Uh, Amy says she did not even know who Savannah was until this. Oh, wow. Yeah, remember Savannah Guthrie? She's actually a lawyer. And gosh, I've known her for so long. Like, not known her personally, but known who she was for so long. That would be like, like I've met Nancy Grace, I've met Jane Velez Mitchell. I talked to like people like Ann Bremner and Diane Diamond online, although I haven't met them personally. Before I had my cancer, Diane wanted me to do a podcast with her on something, and I didn't, and I just wasn't well enough, and I didn't want to go in front of the camera now. So, Diane in front of the camera now. um, I've never met Savannah, but like, God, I don't even know how long I've like known all these people. You know, um, that is why when you do your passport, it has to expose your right ear. Oh, I didn't know that. Um, you know Savannah. How do you know Savannah, Patrick? I've got some viewers in here who do actually know Savannah, like in person. Oh, Vima says, I have met Savannah and Nancy Grace. Yeah, I've met Nancy Grace too. I've never met Savannah. Your cousin worked for CNN. Oh, that's cool. Hey, KMG. Hello. Bemis, how was Savannah when you met her? And I'm just curious, how was Nancy when you met her? Because Nancy, she's just a love bug. Um, Rochelle says, I'm still interested in knowing if there were any previous breaking and entry attempts at Nancy's residence. Not that I know of. On TV, my sister works with her. Oh, cool. I mean, I think if there were prior crimes or threat of crimes to that residence, I think that they would have had everything more secure. But we don't know all the security systems that were in play. Come on. I've heard that, Patrick, that the back door was unlocked. I don't know if it was unlocked the evening that this happened. Bemis says, so sweet. And Nancy still talks to me every now and then on X. She is sweet, but as wise as a serpent, so to speak. Yeah, we think the exact same way. And so many people get mad when I say like she was a love bug, as far as Nancy Grace, because they think she's a bitch on TV. But, you know, newscasters, broadcasters, a lot of them are actors as well. It's all about the show. Um, in person, she's as sweet as pie, and she's a love muffin. Um, and someone was in the house when she got home. Could be. Yeah, the back doors were propped open, Rochelle. Hello, C. Kushner. Yeah, Nancy's the best. You could never convince me otherwise. Just as you could never convince me, and this is going off topic here, but in regards to kidnappings, you could never convince me that Patsy Ramsey is guilty of anything involving the murder of John Benet Ramsey. If Patsy Ramsey rose from the grave and walked through this door right now and sat next to me and talked to you guys on YouTube and confess, I'd call her a liar. Uh, he or she knows the house. Absolutely, Patrick. Absolutely. You don't go into a maze like the Catalina foothills into the dark of the night and know where every door, every entrance is, every lock, every gate, every camera, every light. It's impossible. Um, this is someone who had intimate knowledge of the property, both inside and outside. I've talked about this many times on my other videos. Um, if they went out through the front, who locked up behind them? Uh, Remember, people had access to the house before the police were called. 41 minutes in the house. Yeah, kidnappers don't spend 40 minutes in the house. They'll spend a little bit more time than a bank robber, but especially when you're trying to secure an 84-year-old disabled woman, but not 41 minutes. Did she have house cleaners coming in? I believe she did have a housekeeper. I don't know if she was full time. I always wonder why satellite imagery couldn't zero in on the crime scene because it was too dark. In the daytime, a satellite could take a picture of an ant on the sidewalk if they had to, but not at night. Hemi said you had a hit and run the night she went missing. I don't know anything about a hit and run. Oh, you're still here, Sue? She's one of our good channel friends. I just don't see your name in the chat a lot, Susan, also known as Sue, my friend in Massachusetts. KMG, a housekeeper would know the whole layout of the house and a landscaper would know the whole outside. True. That's a very good question, V Miss. You know, you always ask very intelligent questions here, and I really appreciate that. Why does Sheriff Nanos not seem to want this case solved? It's so strange. That is a very, very good question. And because of that, they have dug into his background, and that's why all this other BS has come up. It's not BS that about his prior employment and his job application and with the sheriff's department. Like everybody wants to know, why did you release the crime scene? Why did you make contradictory statements about the timeline? Why did you say everybody could be guilty and then you've now publicly cleared the family? Not a thing was working in the back of that house. You mean after the crime occurred or before the crime occurred? Kathy, I agree. She almost had to have a housekeeper coming in with her big house and her health issues. She needed one. Yeah, that house is huge. KMG, yes, yes, that is the strangest thing about this case. Oh, you mean Nanos? I agree. Patrick stated earlier that he was pulled over the night she went missing and took his car. Just asking, I don't know what you're talking about. Patrick, was your car taken the night of the Nancy Guthrie disappearance? I don't know what this person is saying. Hello again, Subra. The property was up for sale previously. I've heard that's true, but I haven't confirmed it, but I have heard that. You mean Nancy's property? The property was up for sale previously, so who knows who was in there. I wonder, since it didn't sell, was someone influential lowballing and got angry they couldn't bully her. I don't know why the house was apparently listed in 2024 and then just taken off the market. V Miss says, I think Nanos was getting a piece of the pie, possibly, hence his lack of concern. Yeah, I would like to know if the rumors are true that he is close friends with Tommaso Cioni. Could be a total false rumor. Yeah, I meant Susan, but yeah, hello to Sue Brock as well. Remember, we have a lot of Sues, Susans, and Suzannes now, just as we have a lot of Kathys and Catherines. And I haven't seen the Kellys or the Karens today. KMG says, yes, Nanos. Does he have a connection to the housekeepers and the groundskeepers? Just wondering. I don't know that. Patrick says it was the son-in-law. Remember, everybody here is innocent until proven guilty. Kathy says, I agree, V. Someone almost had to be lining his pockets, in my humble opinion. That's true. That's a good way to say that, Kathy, too, just to say in your humble opinion. Because there's a lot we don't know. There's a lot we don't know about this. And I will not publicly name a suspect, no matter how many harassing, threatening, or bullying emails or comments that I receive. And if you expect to come on here and see me name people publicly on my channel, you need to go watch somebody else. I'm not one thing was taking. Okay. I'm lost here with that conversation. I don't know anything about a car. Travis, welcome in. Hello. Are you the same Travis in the Pacific Northwest, Travis, or are you a different Travis? I don't even worry about it, Hemi. I'm a private investigator. I have a very thick skin. She says, or he. Is it a she? Are you a she or a he? It's hard to see the avatar, but I think I see a female avatar. No one should be harassing you. That's ridiculous. Rolls right off me. Yeah, what car? What are we talking about? The police taking somebody's car, Patrick's car. You're a Travis from Colorado. Okay. Well, welcome in. Now there's two Travises connected here. See, there's so many. I got so many new people coming in that we have. I haven't seen in April yet. That would be fun to see in April. Come in. 66 people watching, only 43 thumbs up. Let's see. Kathy says, Patrick, the family did come in and take boxes out of the houses a few days later. Yes, they did. Sue Brock, that's a good question. Why do you think Savannah called Mark Kelly for help? Most likely. And he did show up Monday morning to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, to their actual precinct, and brought coffee and donuts. Just saying. That's what I've heard. I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't see him walk in. Mark Kelly, send me some coffee and donuts. I could use a donut right now. Well, maybe a half a donut. Too much sugar. Rochelle says, maybe family photos and keepsakes were removed for safety. I think I would do that too. Possibly. I know a lot of security has been put in since this happened. Wish they'd had it a little sooner. Patrick says, I think she's alive in a house somewhere. Wouldn't that be wonderful, Patrick? Travis Bruley says, I don't like Nanos. He's not my favorite person. Thank you, Kathy. She says, please like, subscribe, and shares April's channel. That day that I got my first check, which was the 21st, I had like 99 new subscribers that came in that day. And because of that, it boosted up the algorithm. And by, I think it was 3:08 a.m. the next morning, after I received that check, I hit the 3K mark. We got to get to 4K before we can even talk about 5K. But, if everybody that was watching was subscribed, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. And even though it's not the subscribers that make you the money, or the channel covers the channel expenses, it's the views. But with the more subscribers, the more views, and the more subscribers, the more that YouTube will push it out. So I think that's why it's important to have those subscribers. Subscribers wouldn't be a requirement of monetization if it wasn't important in YouTube's eyes. So please, if you're watching this, please subscribe. You can click the bell icon for notifications or you can turn off your notifications. But at the very least, it would really help to subscribe and share the channel. With social media and all you guys that are watching right now, if just the 66 people that were watching right now subscribed and shared the channel and got it out on social media like Facebook and Threads and X and Instagram, you know, I could just see a tremendous rise very, very quickly. Um, let's see. KMG says, I hope she's alive somewhere. I would love for that to be true, KMG. I don't think it is. David Thompson, I never did find out what really happened. The mainstream news media is what? Um, he walked right into the war room. Would you go back to the house? I've never been to the house, Patrick. Travis says, I think it's tomato as the perp. I love it. Tomato, tomato, Tommaso, Tommy, Tommaso Sione. Yes, Sue. Yeah, he's a very nice man. I've never personally met him. That was nice of Mark. Rochelle D, thank you. I shared today and hit the like for sure. Thank you. Yes, Rochelle, that's absolutely 100% true. I hope she is alive somewhere too, but she would need medication and medical care to enable that. Yeah, I don't think she's tied up in somebody's basement. Kathy Mowry, I baked 2 pans of brownies today. I still have to frost one pan and powder sugar the other one. You can do it. Join the channel. It would really help, April. Thank you. Uh, Mary. April, I'm from Wisconsin and new to this podcast, and I'd like to know if you have any issue with me mentioning other podcasts that I believe would be beneficial for other chatters. And I'd like to have your smiley face. I've just, as long as we can keep the conversation to Nancy, I would appreciate that. I don't want my chat like spammed. It's hard enough for me to keep up with the comments. Um, but welcome in, Mary. Yeah, and I will once again, if I haven't already said it twice before today, maybe 3 times, I'll say it again till I'm blue in the face. Literally till I take my last breath. Everybody on my YouTube channel that we talk about in these videos or these live streams is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, we're not really going to go there. I don't want the channel spam, Mary. I just want to keep the conversation to what we're talking about today, and that is Nancy Guthrie and helping to bring her home. Yeah, I think that's kind of a strange question to bring up. Um, but no ill intentions, no hard feelings. Okay, I want you guys to type into the chat. Will this case be solved? Type in a 1. Will the case never be solved? Type in a 2. Solved, type number 1. Never solved, like ever, type number 2. Oh, wow. Patrick says no. Hemi and Dean say yes. Michelle, thank you. I like how this channel is managed. Kathy, too, says no. Michelle, And Leanne say 1. How about 3? Maybe. Yeah, that's a good one. I go back and forth. The longer it goes, the worse things are. That's why I wish the crime scene hadn't been compromised, well, released so early and then compromised. I wish the FBI had been brought in sooner. I wish they had been able to take the physical evidence themselves rather than it going through Pima County Sheriff and their private lab in Florida. That was a big mistake. And some of these mistakes may be so big that this case may never recover from some of these mistakes. Rita says no. Emerald Eyes says yes. I have a tendency, especially what I've learned in the last week or so, I have to agree with Hemi here. Think they already know just building the case. And the reason I think that is because of the conversation that I had with the retired FBI agent. Um, absolutely, KMG, and a search and rescue team allowed. That's what they should have been doing from the very first week. Now we're looking at a recovery mission, but once again, evidence is not what it was the first week. Kathy says, I think they have a lot of evidence they aren't sharing yet. Oh, I hope so. My God, I hope so. They're just not, the FBI is not going to talk about what they have. Rochelle says, the horoscope chart says absolutely last week of May, going into June. And yes, it is about money, and many arrests are coming. And yes, she will be found most certainly. Bravo, Rochelle. Or Rochelle. Bravo. Sue Brock, I'm right with you. Frustrating. KMG, what happens though if they know who is involved but have no body? Then how do they have enough evidence to make a case? It's very easy to make a case without a body. I talked to the FBI about that personally. Many, many cases get prosecuted without a body. And the FBI agent that I spoke to for about 45 minutes said that he is he's pretty sure that they will solve this case, but he is much less sure that they will ever recover a body. Fingers crossed. Absolutely. Oh, you came home, Maggie? How was your trip to Disney? Checking in from home. Hello, April, and all good people. Welcome in, Maggie. Kathy Mowry says things are not right about a couple family members. Whether they're involved in this situation or not, I agree with that statement 1,000%. Things are not right about a couple family members. Absolutely. Doesn't make them guilty, though. But I agree that things are not right about a couple of family members. KMG says that's good to know. I was going to say that earlier while I was preparing this. Rochelle, you think a lot like me. You said it is a group and they only need to break a few to start the dominoes. I was going to say that same thing, that we need. I've said it all along. I just had never used the word domino before, but I was thinking about saying that today. We need the first domino to fall, and then all the other dominoes fall. Thank you for saying that. You took the words right out of my mouth. KMG, life in prison for those involved in kidnapping America's grandma. Yes, I kind of even want that more than the death penalty because, you know, the death penalty is a free pass to the other side. I think you should rot in prison for the rest of your life for those that are involved. And let me tell you, if you didn't do this crime directly, but you know about who did and you do not come forward with information, you can and will be charged or most likely be charged with a crime. You probably won't go to prison for life, but you're going to get more than just a few weeks or months in jail. If you know anything about this and who's involved and you don't come forward, you are culpable for this. If the family is truly cleared, they know already. Great trip, wonderful haircuts, and traffic out the wazoo. Um, Speaking of haircuts, I need one so bad. That's got to be on my to-do list. I think they need to play those two people against each other. In my humble opinion, one of them is going to break. A good interrogator can make that happen, especially a good polygrapher. That's where you get a lot of people to break, is in the polygraph room. Rochelle and I watched a retired New York cop saying they need to return to the old policing methods after suspects spend a few nights in the pokey. They start to sing. Is it a coincidence? Is it really a coincidence that right after Kayla Day was brought in on these other charges, that the raids went down in Arizona, including the one at Luke and Mary Daly's house? Things started to happen. Coincidence? I don't know. I'm a PI. I have a hard time believing in most coincidences. It's just the detective in me. Didn't Colella supposed to have a court hearing in May? Yes, he did, and I think the trial is set for sometime in June in Tucson. And also, unrelated to Nancy Guthrie, the Luke Daly trial is set for sometime in August, and he has requested a jury trial. KMJ, I'm also going to pray that those involved get very paranoid and start making really dumb mistakes. There have already been some really dumb mistakes, but I just can't say what they are here because that would be me implicating somebody, and I can't do that on a YouTube channel. Um, well, we already talked about this, Mary. Apparently, Mary doesn't want to follow the rules today. Um, no spamming, but blah, 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 blah. No. I had a feeling that was coming, Mary. Now, moving on. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's a very good comment, KMG. I'll say it again. I'm also going to pray that those involved get very paranoid and start making really dumb mistakes. Yes, ma'am. Oh gosh, I think my ball game started. Uh, 63 people. Once again, do I have to beg? I need to look at the most recent analytics, but I think only 60%, 60 some percent of my viewers, um, less than, I think it's 30 some percent are subscribed, and 60 some percent are not subscribed. I don't get paid for subscriptions, but the more subscriptions I have, it will boost the algorithm for me, and then I'll get more views. Once it's monetized, I only get paid per the views, and then I can make some side money here on the super chats or the super thanks. Which, by the way, I don't like the way that these lives, once I go off the air, even though you guys can see them immediately, it takes a couple of days for them to process, maybe a day or two. One took like 2 weeks. It was like stuck. And the whole time that that's processing, YouTube doesn't add that super thanks chat. And depending on if you're watching a mobile device, an iPad, an other type of tablet like a Chromebook, or you're watching on a desktop or a laptop, they all format differently. And a lot of people that are rewatching the videos, the lives, or they're watching just the videos, or they're watching the shorts, they don't see the super thanks button. I've had a couple of hundred super chats since I got monetized March 25th, the evening of March 25th. It was more like close to midnight. But I've only received ever 2 super thanks, and I have tons of people that are watching these lives after the fact. And then they're like shooting complaints to me like, I can't see the chat. Give it a day or two. While you're waiting for, if you can't see the chat, you either didn't swipe left or YouTube hasn't had a chance to process it yet. Um, Kathy, that's so true. She doesn't understand the repercussions of naming other channels. Yeah, I have to be very careful what is talked about on my channel and in my chat. Pimi says, "You too, Maggie, April, and everyone. Happy Memorial Day weekend." Oh, I missed Maggie's comment. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Praying Nancy is found and justice is served. Yes, my new hashtag, Justice for Nancy. I got to add that into some of the videos. Justice for Nancy. Like I said, I want hats and T-shirts and stickers or pins or something that say Justice for Nancy. No, you didn't take over the chat. You can say anything you want, Sue Brock. You're one of my big supporters. Thanks, April. I hope I didn't take over the chat too much today. No, you're fine. We all love you, Sue. And we're all saying prayers for your son. Maggie hoping they won't have to have a memorial service for Nancy. You know what, though? I'd rather that they were able to have a service because she's found, even if the worst has happened, than for them never to be able to have a service because they don't know the answers. That's the absolute worst, is not knowing. It's like all the families of the people, the passengers that were on MH370, and they still don't have any closure, and they still don't know where their loved ones are. That's just awful, and that's been going on for 12 years now. April, do you have a hype button? I hyped a gardening YouTube channel in Tennessee last week, but I can't find your hype button. Yes, but you have to be watching on mobile, I think, to work the hype button. Is that true? I know you have to be in the United States, and you don't mean this hype button. You mean the hype button within YouTube so that you can hype the videos. I believe that you can hype within the first 7 days. Let me just go to do a Google search, although it's hard for me to see behind this tripod. Um, YouTube hype button. Let's see what it says. Okay, the YouTube hype feature is a promotional tool designed to help emerging creators, those are people with 500 to 500,000 subs in the YouTube partnership program, get discovered. Viewers receive 3 free hypes per week to boost long form videos. Oh, okay. Long form videos uploaded in the last 7 days. I don't have any long form videos uploaded in the last 7 days, but I know people hype these as well. Hypes earn the video points, and top hype videos land on a weekly regional leaderboard. I've had many people tell me that they hype my video. I need to get out there and do the long form content, but I'm so busy doing these lives. Um, it says the button only appears on a long form within the first 7 days. I wonder if they've changed that though, because I've had a lot of people saying they're hyping the lives. I was just saying because she would be alive and well. Maggie, not amen. April, not knowing would be brutal. Yes, Matthew, that's Nancy's house in a green screen. I was just watching DGL Searching for Her by Annie and Tommaso's house. Oh. Yes, KMG. Yes, I have hyped some of your lives. Yeah, I see it in the stats that the lives are hyped. But once again, you may have to wait until the video processes. You can see it as soon as I go off the air, which most people see it the same day. But I wish people would, see some of the former videos first, because if you can't swipe and see the hype and you can't swipe to the chat, that means you also can't see the super thanks tabs. And I'm just not, that's I've received like I think 2 99-cent ones, and they were both Apple. So I've probably received like 75 cents worth of super thanks since I've been monetized uh, March 25th, and today is May 23rd. So I've been monetized now almost 60 days, and I've only seen 2 super thanks. I wish YouTube would fix that. Um, or you can just go to the links if you want to participate. But hypes, yeah, those are free. You should get 3 free hypes per week, and you should be able to use them on the lives. I don't think they work in another country, though. Well, I know the GIFs don't work in other countries either, like the GIFs that you're seeing on a vertical live if you're on a mobile device. Uh, Rochelle says, Florida is a big retirement state. I think they would be a wealth of knowledge. Lots of elderly victims built out of life savings. Well, I've got plenty of knowledge on that just here in California with what I do for a living. Thinking and praying for Nancy, says Cali Girl on Fire. Yeah, Kathy, thank you. Matthew can't name other channels. Yeah, I don't want the my channel spammed with that. I've never had to talk about that before, but I've already had 2 problems today with that. Thanks for understanding, Matt. Um, Maggie, okay, that makes sense. I hyped her channel 3 times when I couldn't find yours. Um, when you couldn't find whose? David, the mainstream news media has said all kinds of things, including that Nancy was abducted by aliens. So funny, did you see my FBI videos, David? The FBI agent said to me, he said, I'm not kidding. But, he was serious when he said, I guarantee you, out of all those thousands of tips they've received, like, I guarantee at least 2 of them or 200 of them have probably said that Nancy was kidnapped by the aliens. And we just both laughed. But yeah, especially with all this disclosure coming out during the time that this case is happening. But no, that didn't happen in this particular case. I do have an X, but I'm not active on there, Rochelle. I'm more active on Threads when I have time. Um, let's see. Oh, that's so funny. No, in this particular case, Nancy was not kidnapped by aliens. Aliens don't show up wearing ski masks, and they don't sit out in white vans watching properties for weeks ahead of time. They don't bring a bag full of tools. They don't need them. They have magical powers. They don't need to bring a backpack full of tools. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, X, Threads, Facebook, Instagram. Just put it in an email. CC everybody you know. Talk to your family, talk to your friends. I don't want to wait as long as it took me years to get to 1,000. It took me more years to get to 2,000. Once I hit to 2,000, things, started moving a lot quicker. But I want to quickly hit 5K. I just want to go right beyond 4K and get to 5K. Because I think the more subs I have, even though I don't get paid for subs, it'll help YouTube see that the channel is growing quickly, and then it'll could boost me into the algorithm. Like the day that I got that check, for some reason I seemed to have a boost in the algorithm, even if it was just for that one day. I heard that, Rochelle. Justin is mailing a ski mask to Jordan, and he will model it. Yeah, good luck with uh, the future attorney allowing that person to go online and answer any more questions. That would be funny to see that, but I kind of doubt that'll happen. Um, I'm not even going to go there, Kathy. Uh, yeah, remember we did talk about certain businesses in every city, not just LA and New York, but there are businesses that are in cities that, they may, let's say it's a cheeseburger restaurant. They may really sell cheeseburgers, but that cheeseburger restaurant can be a front for something else. People hear the term mafia and they usually think of, the Italians or the Sicilians. Um, every country in the world has their own mafias, and with certain things that have happened with immigration over the last 40 years, there's been a big surgence of certain ethnicities into the countries that have brought not only their good, hardworking people, but have brought their mafias in with it. And, every town, even towns the size of Tucson, have organized crime. Not every business that you see in every town is legitimately doing what they advertise that they're doing. Um, there's always sketchy people everywhere. Let's just say that. Um, KMG says if her house was for sale in 2024, I wonder if the realtor would have a list of people who viewed the house and if that list may have any of your suspects on it. I don't know if anybody actually viewed it or it was just temporarily listed, or I don't know how long it was listed, if it was listed. Um, uh, don't know much about it. I do know more about the second loan. Still, nobody else on YouTube is talking about that. But, I don't have time to watch 150 million other YouTube channels. I just watch some of the things that you guys throw at me when I can. But if somebody sends me a link, and I get these all the time in my email, go look at this video, and then it's 4 hours long, and I have to come back on the air in less than 24 hours and start all over. I don't have time for that. You know, I don't mind the emails, but um, yeah, I just like I've seen a very small part of the video that we talked about earlier in this video. Pictures have been placed on the realtor site of the property too. Yeah, that means it's probably been listed more recently if it's showing up, especially since she lived there since 1975. Um, Usually people that have lived in houses that long, there's nothing on the realtor sites because they've lived there since 1975 and they've never listed their house. There's a lot of times people list things and then take things down. Yeah, her house was also featured in at least one episode of the Today Show, including her own bedroom. Topic: Nancy Guthrie. Day number 112, I believe. I'll have to go back and look at my title. Well, I'm missing my ball game. We got 54 people in here. Is there anything that anybody wants to ask me? Any messages that you want to send? I speed up videos to double time when I'm short on time but want to watch something. Yes. I watch a lot of YouTube channels that are not related to this case at all. I watch quite a few people in Alaska. I watch a lot of resellers. And speaking of that, somebody bought a $2 item today off of my Whatnot. If you guys aren't connected to Whatnot, use my link that's on my channel page, and Whatnot will give you $15 free. It doesn't come out of my pocket, it comes out of their pocket just to get you to try out the app, and then you can use it in my store or anybody else's room on Whatnot. It's a good deal. I've had some of my viewers do that already. Don't pass up free money. Uh, my live stream says 112. Okay, 112 days. Oh, you're coming in from the UK. Welcome in. We had somebody from England here earlier, and we had our friend from Turkey in here. Yeah, get yourself 15 free bucks. I had a viewer that came in. Not only they took advantage of the 15 free dollars from Whatnot, but then they came and they bought 4 things in my store. And I have to tell you, I don't have a whole lot left in the store because I did. Was it a week or two ago? I did a Whatnot late at night, and I sold 17 items to 2 people. And then I've since sold another item today that I'm going to have to get packed up, but I know I've already missed the mailman and there's no mail until Tuesday. So whoever bought that card, you're going to have to wait until Tuesday. No mail Sunday, Monday. Uh, I haven't had time to source or anything. I've just been so busy with this case. I do have a PayPal link. I have all my links. In fact, let me go to my main channel page and just, I'm glad you're still here, Leanne. Yeah, the game's on a little early today from Milwaukee, and let me tell you, yesterday's game was not pretty. And we are talking about the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, but they've really been playing poorly offensively this year. Okay, I'm on the main channel page, and let me look at my links. Yeah, if you look at the main channel page, you'll see my bio, you'll see where it says 7 links. At least that's what my screen shows. It's got my eBay store. You know what? I need to take down the Buy Me a Coffee link. Don't even bother with that one because you get about $2 out of that. I just need to get rid of that. I have my Venmo, my Cash App, my PayPal, my whatnot. Go sign up for that if you're not signed up for it. You will get $15. And if you ever want to be a seller on there, contact me and I'll send you my seller link and that'll get you in immediately. I also have my GoFundMe. The reason that's still up for my cancer is because some people think that my cancer illness and my AFib and all my other heart issues, but they are faked. It's all on the internet for you to see. That's why that's there, even if you just want to know about the whole history of everything that has happened. And then there's my Amazon wish list. Thank you, Kathy. You are so supportive. Thank you for another amazing live stream, April. Dodger fans need some love too. I'm looking forward to Kike Hernandez coming back soon. We just, we need some life in this team right now. We need someone to pump us up. I have seen PayPal links at the top of a chat at times, which is nice. Yeah, I don't put any of the links in the chat, but I just put this in starting 3 days ago. This is a self-finance channel, but I haven't put any payment links. But you can send a super chat, or you can go to the videos that have already processed and send a super thanks, or you can just use your free jewel icons. Just, I think you can pay for those jewels too, but I want to know more about the jewels because I don't have any credits left to send the people that I like to send to and that I do send to. So how many jewels do we get a week or a month? They say we get 3 hypes a week, but how many jewels do you guys get, or do you have to buy the jewels? I know you can buy them, like if you want more credits to send, but everybody should get a certain set amount that are free. And then you guys can hand them out to whoever you want to. You know what? While we're still here, the Astros won today. I haven't been following the Astros, Jewel. I followed them more when I was a kid. Yeah, I like using PayPal too, especially in reselling transactions because there's extra added protection. Let me see. Yeah, I do have PayPal set up. YouTube Jules, I want to know how the viewers, including myself, can earn. To earn from YouTube Jewels, viewers purchase jewels to send digital gifts during your vertical or horizontal live streams. You earn rubies for every gift received. Every 2 jewels redeemed equals 1 ruby. Rubies convert to real cash at a fixed rate of 1 cent. Yeah, I have 190 rubies today. That means I've got $1.90. They are also paid out via Google AdSense. But how do they give you so many to start? Yeah, I am monetized for jewels. I'd like to know though, how does YouTube hand them out? Is it just that one time just to get people started? And then from that point forward, you have to buy them? Because, you guys get 3 free hypes per week. How do you, the viewers, earn the jewels without buying them? I'd like to know that. I only use the free jewels. Yeah, I've never bought any yet, just because I'm trying to put all my money into this channel. And I think the more money you throw at them, the more they give you. Rochelle, okay, I will look at your main channel today. I promise. It's been busy. No problem. Yeah, everything's there. My playlist, my video tab, my shorts tab. I had 1,000 the day I sent all the day I saw them. Oh, wow. Yeah, when I was monetized before, they didn't have these jewels. This is something new that's just started since the last time I was very briefly monetized. But my balance has run out as far as the ones that I throw out to other channels, and I just want to know how to earn as a viewer because the content creator gets rubies. Jewels are a digital currency used to send virtual gifts. I understand that. You can buy bundles of jewels directly through the YouTube mobile app. Jewels that you purchase do not expire. Okay. I still don't understand, though, how many everybody gets to start. Kathy Maury, I got to get going. I need to eat supper and take care of my brownies. Thanks for coming. It's still not answering that question because I had quite a bit when I was like, "What's this?" When I started my live streams, once I had the monetization, I was like, "Oh, what's this?" Sarah! Oh my god! Everybody. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta switch screens here. Oh my god, this is my biggest channel supporter. Of course, now it's not letting me scroll on the desktop. Hold on, let me get there. Oh my God. I've been worried about you, dude, because I know you said you were going to be gone a while, but I hadn't seen you. And I was just like, I hope you're okay. I hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh. You know what? An amazing thing happened the other day. I hit 3,000. Now I know that's so small in the bigger picture of YouTube, but little April Davis here, hit 3,000 subs. My goal was to hit it by the end of May, and I did a video. The last time I watched it, it happened that night, like at 3 a.m. And I was just like, and it just so happened that I had received my very first check. Thank you, Saraf. Most of that check probably came from your donations there, my friend. It was it was bigger than I thought it was going to be. I don't expect it to be that big for the next month's check. I do have the minimum requirements, but the day that happened, the day that happened, I gained like 99 subscribers in one day. No, that's 35.90 in Israeli shekels. In case you guys that are new here don't know what that little symbol is in front of the 35. Yeah, I had somebody come in. I think it was yesterday. Somebody came in from Canada, and that was my very first Canadian super chat. And then I don't know if you were here when somebody from India sent the Indian rupees, and I've received one super chat very early on that was from the UK. But I think I've received more Israeli shekels than I've received in US dollars and jewels. So, wow. Let's see. That's a medium that's talking about the Guthrie case. What medium? Did I miss something in the chat? Rochelle says, woohoo, Saraf wig. I was like, yeah, it's just a typo. No, don't worry about it. Wow, Saraf. Like, that really lifted me. And if you haven't seen some of the most recent videos, look at the video that I did. It's a few videos before this one where I say in the thumbnail that I talked to the FBI, and then see the next one that says I sent a letter to the FBI. Those are very two important videos for everybody here that's been watching this series. If you haven't seen the video where I talked to an FBI retired agent about this case, and you haven't seen the video that was just this past week about me sending the letter to the FBI, which, by the way, that letter should arrive today, but it is a holiday weekend here, Saraf, in the United States. It's Memorial Day. And so Monday is a federal holiday. So they probably won't get to it until, later next week. If they get to it at all, if they even read it. But I sent an 8-page document to the FBI. So yeah, Saraf, go check out those two videos and let me know what you think. It gave me a lot of hope. It was kind of encouraging to talk to a retired agent, and he was very experienced. He's worked in 3 different FBI offices. He's one of my fellow PI comrades, but it was very uh, it was optimistic for me to hear him say that he does think that there's a very good chance that there will be an arrest, that it's coming. Although he did sadly say that he thinks there's less of a chance that they'll actually find Nancy. He was more leaning on a single person, a single lone wolf, where I am adamant that it's a group. He had only followed the case for like a month. I've been following this case since the night it happened. I definitely believe that whoever's involved had intimate knowledge of the property, both inside and out. Uh, yeah, that's very important to see the videos. They're under the live form tab regarding the FBI. Um, oh, you don't know her name. Yeah, there's so many psychics, C. Kushner, psychics and spirit box readers, most of which, just spew BS. But, there are people that do have, particular skills when it comes to that. Look at the lady that did the sketch of the suspect. Her name is Lois. I can't think of her last name right now, but she apparently is in the Guinness Book of World's Records for helping, various police departments solve crimes that she knew nothing about, but she was able to, draw sketches and bring suspects to justice. Um, nothing could hurt at this point. Everybody, I hope you're giving my friend Saraf here a thumbs up on his very generous super chats. And I don't know if Kathy is still here, but if you are, thank you, Kathy, for you started the super chat chain today, or I should say train. But by the time he came on, your little train car had disappeared. They don't display those for very long. Um, thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, definitely. You need to catch up because I know you were away. You said you would be, and that you would be back. Thank you for keeping your promise, because so much has happened just with getting that first check, finally, getting a little bit of money into the account to pay for these expenses, and then to get the 3,000 mark, hours later, and be able to have the fortunate ability, because of what I do for a living, to talk to a credible FBI agent. You guys here supporting me and urging me that, he said that maybe I should put something in writing, and so I did. Um, Live is buffering, so I will check in later. Not buffering on my end, but okay, Dean. Please have a safe and enjoyable weekend. God bless you. You too, Dean. Let's see. Uh, what was great, Rochelle? I missed something. I was busy talking to Sarah. Sorry. Police have used them a lot, and they also take remote viewing training, as does military, and it really helps to be a little psychic to do that successfully. You know what? I know this is going to sound crazy. I am very good at what I do. I have a technical, analytical mind, but I was born with what people that I've worked with call my crystal ball. Uh, I'm not a psychic, not a tarot card reader, I'm not a spirit box reader, but I do have an extraordinarily sharp sixth sense. Maybe it has something to do with my own negative blood. There's a lot in the news this week, people, since Disclosure Day, about people with O negative blood, and why we do have certain hypersensitive abilities. Don't know, just saying, but I am O negative. Not going to jump to any other crazy conclusions about where I may have come from 3,000 years ago, but I do have the weird O negative blood. And O negative blood, there are a lot of professional psychics that are O negative blood. So I do have a little bit of that sense that really has not helped me just not only solve crimes and put the pieces together, but has probably saved my life many times. You pull up to a place and you go, you know what? I'm not going to hit that door today. I'll hit it tomorrow. Or I'm not going to park my car in this parking lot. Or I'm going to move my car out of this parking lot and get the F out of this neighborhood because in a few hours, a plane is going to crash in this neighborhood. It's going to take out the CEO of In-N-Out Burgers. And I just missed it because something told me to get out of that parking lot. You are O negative too. Well, that explains a lot, Sassy. We are two peas in a pod. Yeah, my mother had the O negative blood, but she didn't seem to have some of the spiritual sense that I seem to have. Maybe she had it and she just didn't know she had it and couldn't use it. Yeah, remote viewing is a very interesting topic, Rochelle. Kindred spirits, absolutely. And I know I'm missing my game. I don't want to miss my game, but like, my God, Saroth is here. How can I leave now? Let's see. We got 43 people watching. Well, I got 62 thumbs up. If you guys haven't already given me a thumbs up or a subscribe, please do so. Let me do I know we just hit 3,000, but let me go do a channel count. 37. So that means I've gained 7 subscribers during the time that I've been on the air. I am B positive, but still psychic some. Yeah. You don't have to be O negative to be a little bit psychic, that's for sure. The sketch psychic was great. She is great. She is great. The Dodgers need me. A couple of years ago, before I got diagnosed with cancer, I actually got a call uh, from human resources at the Dodgers, and it wasn't about a PI situation or um, like an immediate need for a PI, but it was more of a security issue. And they asked me to like send in a resume. I haven't written a resume since I was in my 20s. So I very quickly had to put something together and send it over. And then they wanted me to come to like an open house before the opening day where they hire all their people. And I had a great day over there, but there were thousands of people. And I thought, how am I ever going to do this with my bad back? Because I would have to be on my feet the whole time. And how am I going to run my business? And I think I already had the cancer at that time and didn't know it. It would have been a crap show had they actually brought me on. So, yeah, they said they only take a few new people a year. So I didn't think I had much of a chance. But the fact that just the Dodgers called me, I mean, I was dancing in my living room like, wow, I got the call. Um, and I have actually did a big case that I can't talk about that did involve a very serious situation involving a former Dodger, and it was huge. And I worked with the feds on that one. So, but I wasn't hired by the Dodgers, but it was about a Dodger. Um, it's only O negative or any negative. I am B negative. Uh, yeah, there are some biblical ties to all the negatives too. Absolutely. Um, you had a blood transfusion at birth because my mother was Rh factor. You know what? My mother was too. And I was born a little jaundiced, even though I inherited the O negative blood. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but they actually had, I was born in an all Italian, basically all Italian town in Rhode Island, and I'm only 3.5% Italian. And my parents were not Catholic, but I was born in a Catholic, Italian oriented hospital in Rhode Island. And they actually brought a priest in to baptize me immediately in case I was going to pass from that Rh negative factor. Um, Rochelle, you have such a full life. You need to write a book. Everybody tells me that, but I have no talent, Rochelle. I'm not even a professional YouTuber yet. Even with that nice check that I received, most of it I have to owe, that to Saroth. Without Saraf, that check probably would have never come. It would have kept just carrying over and carrying over, going, "You don't have enough." So, yeah, I'm not doing this for the money, but let me tell you, as a disabled person with a limited income, every little bit has helped me. All the birthday wishes really brought me up this year. They really brought me up. I still need to figure out, do I need to send out all, I don't know if I have the income for all the thank you cards and the postage. Maybe I'll send them something at Christmas time. I need to get more channel merch and stickers and I'm taking it a little bit at a time. I need more cameras. I need more lighting. I need more Wi-Fi mics now, not tomorrow, but now. Um, yeah, it's a lot. I need to try to pay myself back for the 5 years of expenses before I can start looking at upgrading things. But the more subs I get, the more viewers I get, the more shares, the hypes, the free jewels, the comments in the videos after the fact, during the fact, it all helps. The smiley faces, the red hearts, um, even for the trolls that come in, it's their comments, as negative as they can be, is a boost to the algorithm. Just dictate into a recorder. Oh no, I don't have that type of talent for a book. I can dictate into a recorder. Yeah, that's part of what I do as a PI, but no. I couldn't name names, so it would be boring. Um, yeah, if I took my last breath tomorrow, if the cancer comes back and bites me in the you know what, bites me in the behind, at least I can go to the next level and know that I had an interesting life. That's for sure. And not all good. There's been a lot of bad too, but everybody's got a story to tell. Everybody's got something. But I try to focus on the positive and not the negative. I try to think of the good things and not the bad things in life. And if I didn't, I would no longer be here. I would have given up a long time ago. Or that big ginger beer, it was only a half a ginger beer, diet ginger beer, which is diet ginger ale. I need to stock up. Thank you, Rochelle. What blows my mind the most is that one of my besties who sadly passed away, I've got a video on her on here, gets me very emotional. I don't want to get choked up. Oh God, it's hard to talk about. She would just be proud. That's all I can say. She would be proud that I'm in front of the camera. And I think she's with me on every broadcast. That's all. Still hard. So if you can imagine how bad I feel about that, just the loss of a friend, can you imagine what Savannah Guthrie is going through right now with the loss of her mother? She still doesn't know where she is. That's why we got to get that hashtag out there. Justice for Nancy. We have to keep this thing going. I got to keep coming on until I'm blue in the face and my throat is sore. I've got to keep missing my baseball game that I'm paying $29.99 a month for. I've got to keep this case going. And I applaud all the other YouTubers that are doing the same thing, especially the ones that have the bigger followings than I have and they're more professional and they actually make a living from this. More power to them. More power to the ones that are going out 15 hours a day, boots on the ground, when it's like probably 100 degrees in Tucson right now. We can never, as a group, give up on Nancy. We always have to pray for Nancy, whether you're religious or not. We have to pray for Savannah, pray for the grandchildren. No matter who's involved, justice must be served. If you know who's involved, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. If they don't respond to your call, do what I did. Send a letter to the FBI and send it to the office in Phoenix, because that's the only office that they have in the state of Arizona. So everything must go through the Phoenix office of the FBI. Don't send it to Washington. Don't, send it to Phoenix, Arizona. They have a website. Their tip line on their website is all jacked up. I wouldn't recommend it. Just write a letter and send it off. Pray for Nancy and Savannah. I do every day. I think this is a very hard weekend for the entire Guthrie family. It's this is hard for me. I feel like this lady is the grandmother that I never had. Most of my grandparents all died young from cancer. Um, the other one that died a few years later, she had dementia or Alzheimer's from a young age and had been in nursing homes since she was a younger woman. So that it was like she didn't exist. And the grandparents that I did have that existed, that were in the right, you know, mental capacity, they all died super young from cancer. My dad died young from cancer. I've been wrecked from cancer. I'm younger than any of those people were when they got diagnosed, but they all passed. I'm still here. My two best chemo buddies are gone. There's one other one that I don't know her status right now. I'm afraid to ask. I kind of have survivor's guilt at this point, but I guess God wanted me here for some reason. And I am never, ever going to stop talking about Nancy Guthrie. We will talk about other things. Eventually, I will get out and try to do some other videos. It's kind of hard with a cane and a disability and a million doctor's appointments and, a dozen surgeries or more in the last 10 years. But I am never, ever giving up on you, Nancy. Yes, Cali Girl on Fire, Annie and Cameron are also suffering at this great loss. Yes, yes. Um, I cannot say enough. Justice for Nancy. Okay. Oh, welcome in, Heidi. You're going to have to see this on the replay. I'm going to go get something to eat and watch my ball game, and I'm going to wipe my tears. I'm sorry I got a little emotional. Have a good day. Love you all.